Muy bien.
Muy
Good
bien.
life. Muy bien. Gracias.
Yes.
Hello, brothers. How are you?
Amazing. And you?
Good. Just trying to hunt down my coffee. Seem to have misplaced it.
Elaine, what's
Hello.
up?
Hi. Andrew.
How are you?
Hey.
Yeah. Hello. Good.
Good to see you again.
Hey,
Hi. There are a lot of hats up there.
it's a bad hair day. Andrew, what's going on?
See, yes, sir. I need to, I need to take better care of myself.
Good to see you all.
Good to see you, brother.
I just want you guys to know this morning is a blessing.
Yay.
Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom. It's okay. There's Thank you, Mama. My mom just brought me tea. This is a big of a blessing. See?
Aww.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like, hey, here you go, Eric. Here's some tea.
Aw.
I love it.
Awesome.
How's everyone's day? How's everyone's morning?
Good. Thank
Feeling
you.
good?
Yeah.
Good. I just had a beautiful call with a friend of mine that was just at Tony's house all weekend. And she really debriefed me on a lot of things that, the wisdom that was shared there, and a lot of the things that, have been said. So it's cool to have discussed that in a deep way. I can't wait to share more, but yeah, it was just a lot of great insights. And yeah, it was a profound morning already. Like my mind is just going like pew, 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 pew. So
Is it part of the program, like Tony's events and going
yeah,
to
so the lions, so a lot of the lions, they're like the lions are like the people that go to his house and they spend time with him personally.
Right.
So a lot of those are my brothers and sisters, and so I just had a really good call with one of them, and we just had a great time. And like she's doing a lot of major projects in Congo and like taking care of the kids down there, and looking at sustainable housing and doing a lot of great things that are focused on good, a lot of things that are focused on good. So it's amazing because we're talking about the importance of integrating Bitcoin mining down there, how we can integrate sustainable communities down there.
Which place?
In Africa.
Africa. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So cool stuff.
They have pretty high adoption of Bitcoin, I heard.
Huh?
All the developing countries have pretty high adoption of Bitcoin.
Right. So
much
now
more
we're actually,
than developed countries, right?
well, that's the thing is we were thinking of ways or people that we can connect to in Africa that have connections to Congo, so that we can, because there's so much resource in terms of cobalt in the ground. And that cobalt that's being mined by like Google and Apple and things like this, to really discuss the right things with the right people, because there's also a lot of fear in terms of like what they say in Congo. It's a lot of lawlessness. So bringing that kind of peace there through Bitcoin mining, I think is a really developing opportunity.
Interesting. My physical trainer, he's from there. I mean, he grew up in Canada, but his lineage is from there.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'll see. Yeah. Can ask him more.
Yeah. How are you feeling, Sagitas?
Good. Yeah, a little bit bored. Like it's my fourth day in a garage. 2 more to come, I guess. So yeah, figuring it out what to do, hanging out, doing the best I can.
What are you doing in the garage?
I'm fixing the car, and I'm living in a car. So
Ah,
at the same time, yeah, hanging around with the dog, going for the walks. Yeah, seems like I needed some holidays.
mhm.
This is
Yeah.
this is where you get to get into that grace, and then as a result, when you're leave, you're gonna be like, freedom.
Yeah. I'm gonna be so ready to fly. Yeah, I need to
Love it.
start building another rocket for Andrew, and I can't right now.
Mm.
You have plenty of time, brother. Plenty of time.
Where are you, Andrew?
I'm based outside of Los Angeles. I'm an LA native. So I live in the suburbs now of Agora Hills.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been. I have been meaning to visit for quite a while now because I've got a couple of different partners, clients, and sort of like investors that I'm working with based out of Vancouver.
Nice. Yeah. Come in April or September. It's cherry
Yeah.
blossoms or maple leaves. Right.
Ooh, nice. Nice. Well, I always brag a little bit because this is in the LA suburb life. You get very nice backyards. So that's like the
Oh,
pride of
Mm.
LA. So I've got my lemon trees and places for my kids to crawl around and have fun, and my puppy.
oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. So you're in Vancouver right now? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I came here
Very
by
nice.
accident. I
Very
I came
nice.
here.
I spent a lot of time up in Seattle when I was
Mm.
doing some consulting for Microsoft and loved it and just always was like trying to hop over the border and kept trying to plan trips with my buddies and just never made it.
Oh, there's a lot of greens, flowers everywhere. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Maybe later this fall because my best friend lives up there in Seattle on one of the islands and I've told him like the when you see a clear weekend of like amazing weather, just tell me and I'll book a flight and I'll be there. And then I might pop over to Vancouver, so I'll let you know.
okay. Yeah. Sure. Welcome. Let me know. Okay.
I missed a little bit of this, but tell me the mining projects in Africa that you were mentioning, Eric.
I was just talking to a friend. She does a lot of work with like communities and children down in Congo,
Okay.
and so we were discussing people that we need to get involved with or talk to that can get us to decision makers in Congo that are driving energy or the energy sector or moving a lot of energy within Congo because of the perceived lawlessness that's happening around Congo, so that we can encourage community building there. And I believe that the Bitcoin, like if we can take a Bitcoin mining approach there, it can
Mm-hmm.
maybe create some opportunities for a lot of people to develop this type of sustainabilities.
Okay. I have a resource that I'll reach out to and just see if he's got any contacts.
Yeah, that would be meaningful, bro, because like she does a lot of work down there and really meaningful woman that just has been doing big things around the planet. And if we can connect her to, or somebody can help her get to that layer of responsibility up at a higher level, we can then integrate a really more sovereign approach uh, within Congo and help the kids and help the people, which is ultimately what we're here for. So uh, she's taken on a massive project, and she's been going there doing it for about a decade, but
Mm-hmm.
doing it kind of behind the scenes because of fear, not fear, but fear, meaning they're like she goes there with the security teams and things like this, but
Mm-hmm.
she wants to do it in the open. She wants to do it with Light, you know, where she's getting the support from the government or decision makers that can help her at a bigger scale, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'll check. A buddy of mine from school in Paris works for the Tony Blair Institute and advises the ministers of energy for a couple of African countries. Congo wasn't one of them, but I'll ask him, and he might have colleagues that work with Congo. But I have these opportunities. So the reason I got connected to Elena is I have opportunities in a couple other countries for like stranded energy projects that we could work on today. And that was
Nice.
something I was going to do in the previous company that I can roll forward into Mastermind today, and just haven't done it yet. But I'm going to reach out to him and reconnect. It's been probably a year since I caught up with him, so it'll be a good time to be like, hey, you know, what's going on, and do you have any contacts with Congo? Is it Congo
Bro, that means-
specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Bro, thank you so much, man. That means so
We'll
much
see.
to me. Yeah. But even the fact that you're trying, that to me, that's a lot.
That's why I built this network, man. It's some of the best in the world, so let's tap it.
Yeah. I love it.
Is
And Elaine, I think that, you know, just so you know, a lot of Andrew's people might be definitely needing your support. So maybe you guys want to talk about that.
sure. Yeah. Oh, I was just looking at the map. Where's Congo?
Right in the middle, right?
Right in the middle, is it? Okay. Because I have when I was in Hong Kong, there was like a accelerator organized by a bunch of international people. They have a Nairobi um accelerator, so a lot of tech startups there as well. So I
In
was just
Kenya,
looking.
right?
That's Kenya. Yeah.
Yes.
Kenya's one of them. So hold on, let me look up
Can I
Sergio.
share my screen, Eric?
Yeah. Please.
Kenya and Nigeria were
Right.
two of them.
I was just looking at the map of where. Okay, so Congo's here in the middle, and Kenya's here, right? So here's like Meta, my Nairobi.
Uh-huh.
Oh wait, where? Oh, okay.
So can I read something for you guys from Sergio?
Sure.
Because this is the kind of stuff they do. So for Kenya, they put together a study to highlight the big oversupply that they'll have in the next couple of years. This is a good selling point for BTC mining, as they could partially compensate this. The issue is that they just had elections. The incumbent won, but still it'll take a moment to restart the engagement, but happy to look into it. I have colleagues working with GOK on other topics. It's a difficult administration, just FYI. And then Nigeria was another separate discussion, but I do have good connections in Kenya.
Okay. Well, you guys
Here,
could take.
let me get the actual details. Kenya, 10 to 30 megawatts available for 3 to 5 cents USD for 12 to 24 months. Very good connection in the energy sector. They know the CEO of utility, the Minister of Energy, and the advisor to the president in Kenya.
Which country? In Kenya.
In Kenya.
Oh,
The cons, military junta, political instability, need to check with US embassy.
Right.
But that was 2 years ago.
That's why we need to like, at least my perspective is like integrating the connection from like you said, the gentleman that's, you know, maybe advisor for Tony, or was advisor for Tony Blair, then integrating that connection back to somewhere in the east or on the west back into Congo itself, because that will, from like you said, that will bridge if there's that political instability, that advising to be able to communicate with somebody at a higher level, it will almost give them more certainty if we're coming from the approach of, hey, you know, we're here to figure out solutions for the people, by the people. At least this is my hallucination. This is my perspective. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I just had a Eric, I just had a request from one of the plats, which inspired me about our collaboration. She and her husband lost almost $500,000 in crypto. Of course, they did something wrong. Like they left their money on the exchange and used third-party API, did crypto trading. And for some reason, the wallet was drained. So she kept asking me, "Hey, can you help me understand what went wrong?" Like I'm not even a tech person, but I probably know a little bit more than she did. So I just gave her my understanding of why. And she wanted to be on a call. I'm wondering. I mean, I know quite a number of people, at least 5 now around my circle, who have lost money before. Okay, whether it's with the Terra Luna three Arrow Capital or the USD, was it the USD like collapse, right? So a number of these people are in the Tony community. Okay, for our education piece that we want to do, I think it would be a good idea to educate these people about what happened, because they don't even know why they lost it, right? Like it was probably really painful. Some people lost 6 figures. They don't know why, because they had a lot of trust in some of these platforms, which they shouldn't have, because it's so early in the days where, not any, you can't trust any website, right? And they probably didn't have a tech person around them to advise them to do the right things. So at least getting them to know what the hell happened, to regain confidence to understand what's the real thing,
Well,
It
I
is
love this.
ways.
So by the way, this is something that I think that I'm so excited because this morning we were talking really about I was sharing the importance of the transition and why with and all she was sitting there was like, "You're right, let's do this, let's right." You're like, she's just nodding her head. And I was excited because what it really sounds like, or what I'm hearing from you, is giving that awareness and that simple transition of what we're doing and how we're doing it, so that a lot of the Tony community can feel that certainty in knowing that this is the shift, because that pattern recognition is what they need clarity on.
Yeah, I think most people got in for financial
money.
reasons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think not knowing why they did wrong, right, is a problem, right?
But I'm curious, how can you figure it out what they did wrong?
Oh, for me. Oh, okay. No. So actually they send all the communication between them and Binance, and and I also have a brother who's a computer science person, right? So I just, of course, I don't know for sure, right? But one of the major mistakes is to put that much money on the exchange
and put it into Binance. He just got charged 3 years of by the way, he just the CEO, I don't know his name, Zhang or something.
Yeah.
He just got charged for fraud, 3 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
He got charged, but that doesn't mean he's. I mean,
in jail.
No, he pled guilty. He pled guilty, bro.
All right.
But what does that mean? Does that mean he's going to jail for 3 years and he's not appealing it?
I don't know what that means in terms of like his sentencing, but what I'm saying is that he pled guilty to that type of offense. And I mean, if that's the layering of integrity and being charged in terms of needing to take responsibility, whether or not he was the infiltrator or the one that actually did it, is a different story, but he's taking responsibility for it. And so because somebody underneath him or whoever, I don't know the full story, had decided to do things that, you know, were out of alignment. And so this is the big question is, you know, these are the reasons why self-custody is such an important component, and why having the Bitcoin standard is such a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this person knew enough to try trading bots even, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like very, you know, junior. Can I just share this message with you guys? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please schedule a Zoom call with you? Could we please schedule a Zoom? I really appreciate it. Help. It's really hard for me to take the news that so much money is gone like that. So they want to know how to protect their assets. So you know, it's like 6 figures, right? Gone. They don't know what happened. And of course, they call Binance, you know, and the other third-party KPI, and everybody's pointing fingers at each other. And then, like, do you call the police? Like, the police doesn't care, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Maybe,
I'm just saying there's a huge pain point for people who lost money and don't know why they did that.
Yeah.
Right?
I've actually done this as well. I've gone to someone's house that's lost money and worked through it with them, looked through their ledgers, help them understand what they had and what they didn't, help them understand, you know, what they lost and where their money was, and try and unravel a lot of it. This is something that you can just put together as kind of like a consulting service, because there are experts that do this. There are like forensic experts. Yeah, it would be, I don't know, there's some way to put that together, and there's clearly this pain point. There's a lot of people out there that need it. I think it's smart.
I'm saying, like, a lot of people, they're once bitten, twice shy. You know, once
Mm-hmm.
they lost that much amount of money, they don't want to try again.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They don't, because if they don't know why try again, right?
My partner lost 6 figures with Voyager because Voyager was a publicly traded company, and we just thought, oh, that's like going to be, they're like Coinbase, but like they've got some better yields. Like that was the thinking, and you just didn't realize what these guys were doing behind the scenes with your money, and that they were just purely fraudulent and liars.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a definite responsible role we can step into, is this type of education, 100%.
Is to know what's right or wrong, or what's you know, just putting that large amount of money on the exchange is like putting your in the physical world, putting your money in the exchange, you know, places, right? And not back in your wallet.
It's just not taking responsibility because they don't know, because they're allowing, it's passing on responsibility, not knowing that they are. And that is the thing, is
the thing is,
they're not aware.
If they want to do trading bots, then you have to put your money on the exchange, right? I guess that's one of the problems also.
Is it a problem, or is that being lazy? I don't know.
I don't, yeah. I think my understanding of it is, no matter what, if you need to trade, then you're handing off custody of your things. But isn't that, I guess that's what decentralized finance is. It's trading without putting any of your money into a central exchange. So I'm not big on the trading side, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is you just need to understand how to use a decentralized exchange, decentralized trading bots, and self-custody your coins.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the self-custody, understanding self-custody is, you know, the ultimate thing, is something that people are not aware of a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I showed her this picture. I'm like, you just put money it's as if you put money with these currency exchanges. You left your money there.
Yeah.
That's what you did. Right?
It's hard to understand, definitely. You know? Or, you know, similar concept, like you put money in your bank and they protect it up to 250K, but after that, it's on you. Exchanges, they protect you up to 0K. and then after that, it's on you. So same concept. There's no protection.
Yeah. And yeah, like on Bitcoin protocol is like you can't even call to anyone. You know, there is a moon complaint line. You can call me complain, but that's how far you can go. You know,
That's it.
That's why
It
it's
doesn't work
important.
like that anymore.
That's why it's important to figure it out, those very basic steps, which is definitely very easy, and they are very loaded with a lot of bullshit. Like the information is very confusing online. It doesn't matter it's coming from Bitcoiners or whatever. Like it's super mixed up to make it more complicated, I guess, to go to the core. But yeah, like self custody, it's way much more simpler and easier than anyone can think about. Literally, it's so simple and so cool that is just like not even worth thinking about doing something with exchange if you want to store your wealth, right? But if you want to trade, then I'm out of the game. I don't know. That's Andrew, I guess.
Trading's just also so strange to me. Like the concept of trading, I get it, but if you're trading, I don't know. It just feels to me like, is that really wealth generation, or are you just a gambler? Because trading to me is gambling.
It's ripping somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Trading's like the worst place to spend your time, in my opinion. So if they want to spend their time trading, then they got to understand, like, you're playing a casino game, and that's what you're doing. That's what you're deciding to do with your money. Like, you don't go to a casino and put your money behind their cages as your store of wealth. You know, that's what trading is, in my opinion, right? They should be, I don't know.
It's gambling 100%.
Yeah. And traders who think that they're going to get wealthy by doing it is even crazier, because statistically that is stacked against you farther than anything on this planet. And it's just like, I don't know. If people don't understand that conceptually, then I can't help them, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing, guys. And I believe that people, when you read, like, you know, whether it's like when you listen to what Ray Dalio and, you know, the soundness of how Bridgewater has been able to, you know, or Paul Tudor Jones or Charles Schwab, you know, these guys are also using, they've integrated a lot of bot technology into their algorithmic trading and expertise in the hedge funds. So what I imagine is that people are trying to play the game the same way these guys are playing, with a lot less sound, right? And even in the books that you read, right? Like, so, you know, if you read Money Master the Game, is like they advise you and they share that you are heading against the biggest house, like Full House or The House Always Wins. Get like you are going up against the pros, and
it is
so
stacked.
Right. So that in itself, when some of the greatest leaders in investing are saying that the game is rigged, basically, they're not saying that, but they're emphasizing that it's a very difficult game. What does that say about the industry, and what does that say about the way to win? Does that mean that we should be playing a game that has always been meant for all of us to lose? You know, and that's where I get curious about when people are trading or going up against this type of environment, they're not getting curious enough about the environment.
I just literally this morning randomly popped up on YouTube the scene from Wolf of Wall Street when Matt McConaughey's explaining to Leo his role as a stockbroker. And it is so true. I don't know if you guys understand or if remember like this economic concept in college of like rent seekers versus, yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah. Like the finance markets don't create anything. He says it in there. He's like, we don't build anything. We don't do anything. We're just fugazi. We're fake. And it's true when you look at it. Like the design of the industry is called rent seeking. So it's looking for arbitrage, looking for a profit where someone else doesn't see it. So I think that's yeah. I've always felt that way about trading versus the concept. I think where we maybe got to is this concept of you used to say, hey, I'm going to hand my money to this company because I expect this company to take that money and do good with it and grow themselves, and therefore I'll benefit from it. And then all these other guys started to come in and said, well, yes, but I also think that you're overthinking that. So I'm going to bet against you thinking against that because if you're wrong, then I'm going to be right. Like, and then they just started coming out with all these crazy ways to think about like the well, if it doesn't, then I'm going to put a loan against it and insure against it. And like, we really lost the spirit of what were we trying to do here is build businesses by pooling capital together and then reallocating those capital to the people that took the risk and put the money into that world. And then all the financing that spun off on that has created tremendous wealth, clearly. But like, where did it come from? It wasn't created. It was just siphoned, in my opinion.
It was manipulated.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so it was like double spending problem. So when the banks are like, when you put your money in the bank, they can borrow that money like, I don't know, 100 times. So that's another thing that is not taken into consideration when we talk about inflation.
Mm-hmm.
It's because inflation is okay, 20%, but then there is this not overspending many times the amount that it is already existing that creates even bigger inflation, and that's where the money comes from. It's just illusion.
I have
It's a bubble.
I have a lot of friends in Wall Street, and because I lived in New York and Hong Kong, like both financial centers, right?
Yeah.
And the like, this was in the 90s, and the amount of money that they make is like, blows my mind, because at that like in the 90s, like their bonuses are several years of salaries.
Yeah.
Several $1 million, right?
Crazy.
Yeah.
And
and so like at that point, when I first graduated, I was a designer. I'm like, what? We both went to university. How come you make so much more than me, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just mind-boggling, how they operate. But even my friends in investment banks or their fund managers, they tell me that they can't beat the market. Like, they can't beat the index.
Mm-hmm.
So and that's what Tony Books talks about, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, what an index is, it's like if you have a classroom of 100 students and like the top performing of the top 10 students, then just invest in that instead of trying to guess, which of those 100 is gonna make it, right?
Yeah. I think the part of the finance industry that I do like is maybe there at that layer where those guys are making those massive bonuses is typically because they're investment bankers and they're helping the companies acquire the capital. So they're the ones structuring the debt, structuring the equity, bringing them to market. It's after it's brought to market and it goes public that I don't like a lot of the financial world, but that's where a lot of money is made, and that makes sense. Like Goldman Sachs takes a huge cut for creating a market and creating a pool of investors that are going to bring their money to Uber when it decides to go public, for example. So that that makes sense to me. I don't see those guys as rent seekers. I see them as definitely value creators because they're pooling the right capital into a business that needs it. But then after that, then everybody's speculating about the business. Like, think about how many millionaires were printed by owning Tesla stock, but not because Tesla is a really capital efficient company bringing a lot of cash back to their pockets, but because people are fanboys of Elon Musk because he talks a lot of shit on a really big platform and has 200 million followers. that doesn't seem like money flowing to a place where value was created, in my opinion.
No.
So that's where I get very wary of like public companies and trading and stocks. And like it used to make a lot of sense back in the day, and it used to just be like certain industries had better price to earning ratios and some industries didn't, but like it depended on how efficient you were. And now, yeah, now I just think there's so many derivative products and all these smart quant funds that are just manipulating prices, and then couple that with like groundswell events like GameStop and Tesla, and it's just like, how are you supposed to really know what something is worth?
Yeah, there's a disconnect between the stock price and, you know, the value the company is creating, right?
Yeah. And at that point, I'm just like, this is a rigged game. If that's the case, we've been told all along you're supposed to buy something because it's undervalued and then sell it later when its value has been added realistically. And now you're just like, I don't get it. Like, what are we buying?
It's a good question, brother. What are you buying? What do you want to buy?
I want to buy land and just grow fruit.
What kind
Isn't
of
that what
fruit?
we all want? And Bitcoin. First you buy the Bitcoin, then you buy the land. Because those are the only two
No,
things. Then you have to buy
I
the
guess
ammunition.
I guess the
So
better it
three
would
most
be even
important
like to
things.
buy Bitcoin and then rent the land for now. For 10 years, rent the land. Make a rental agreement for 10 years and then buy.
That's true. That's true.
nice.
99 year lease in Mexico should give you enough time.
By the way, Mexico right now is a great place to invest into.
Yeah, I've heard that real estate, a lot is happening there. I'd love to look into that. I haven't been to Mexico City yet, but I'm planning a trip here pretty soon if anybody's interested.
Yeah,
Why
I think
is
that
that? Can
there's
you explain the why?
The why
Sorry?
behind it?
Yeah.
I haven't researched enough, so I don't have that answer. I just read saw one other article that said that the real estate market is really starting to heat up, like a lot of investment heading into Mexico City. It could be the political environment, like it could be the sudden role reversal of the US not being quite as strong. The US dollar is starting to slip quite a bit, and people might all of a sudden be like, hey, why the hell am I paying this much money in LA when you can go to Mexico City, which is actually a pretty amazing metropolis? There is, some oddities, like you might need a personal driver and you might stay out of certain neighborhoods, but otherwise it's a really sophisticated city. It's no different than LA from that regard. You don't go to Compton.
I see. Interesting.
So it's got a bad rap, but it's honestly a really like safe, powerful economy. The outskirts, there are cartel territories that just, if you're a citizen of Mexico, you just know that you don't go there and you don't mess with the cartels. But if you're a expat, you're usually pretty safe.
Mm.
Relative to LA. I mean, I
So-
would feel as safe in Mexico as I would in Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know people like in North America, they, for vacation or retiring, they like to go down there, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's way cheaper with a lot of
we
service.
loved it.
It's fun.
We loved it in
Mexico is
City.
fun.
Yeah. We had so much fun there, hey, Seguitas?
Yep.
I'll look into this. I love that you picked my brain on this because I'll go research a little. Another thing I saw happening is because of the tariffs from China, there is a lot of logistics and manufacturing that is being built up south of the border. So all of a sudden, it's becoming cheaper to buy made in Mexico products than made in China products because of the tariffs, because of what
Right.
Trump put in place. I have a partner who's done this, who he actually moved from China to the Philippines to avoid the
Mhm.
tariffs. And then now also will start importing into Mexico. And then from Mexico, you can ship across the border and avoid even more
Right.
tariffs. So
Makes
I
sense.
have seen that was like 10 years ago too, when e-commerce was getting big. They were building out massive complexes south of the border to support that.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, yeah. So
Here you go, send me off on all these rabbit holes on a Saturday. How fun. What do you guys have planned today?
Who's you guys?
Anything else fun? Chilling in the
I'm
van,
actually
just living the dream.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Elaine and I are gonna work on some copywriting after this, and because there's a lot of people that are showing up at our doorsteps real fast, and it's crazy how fast that they're coming. So we really want to just get our website up, and Adam, the copywriter, by the way, Elaine is going to join us. He said he can make it, so I added him to the invite, but there's no Zoom to that invite, so just giving you a heads up. And then I'm doing a thing where one of the retreats that I want to do in Ibiza, we're doing a live and talking about that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of cool stuff. I have to go and do some research that I was offered with some ideas to send content to Tony's content manager to share and see if, because they're looking for maybe another speaker on Tony's stage. So I am going to have a conversation with his content manager and see what they need, so that we can serve in a bigger, more responsible way in wealth mastery or business mastery, or whichever mastery that they feel is best to serve, so that we can share sound information to the planet in a bigger way. So I'm going to submit all of those documents today, which is actually a great part of, I think, why we're doing the copywriting. It's so fascinating how we're like, we set it up late, and all of a sudden I had the meeting this morning and she was like, hey, you need to give this and this to Tony's lady, because what you're saying is so needed and so necessary right now. So all like, it's so beautiful.
That's when the time starts going backwards, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like to share. I want to share a slide with you guys and pick your brains. So Andrew, what I do is I've been in the tech industry for 20 years, and we've been helping a lot of Western companies in Asia, like Google, Airbnb, Intel, all that. And now I'm helping a lot of tech startups, especially I'm passionate about making Bitcoin a lot more user friendly, and because the user experience is crap right now. That's why a lot of people lose money. And what I've noticed is, if you look at the Bitcoin space, a lot of the concepts are contrary to human logic. But I want to share this one slide with you to pick your brains. Because when we design things, we look at the user experience, the principles, right? So, like, okay, I just put Web3 here just because the slide was a while ago, but you can see the left side is the Bitcoin, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you are your own bank, but to be your own bank to self-custody, it's like going through hoops and loops to figure out ledger and the 12C word, and and that's contrary to what most people want to do. Like, most people take the least path of resistance, right? That's human nature, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then not your keys and not your coins, which is what my friend probably didn't understand, to put that much money on the exchange. But in user experience, we talk about something called what you see is what you get. Like, and then Bitcoin is so, it's not a physical coin, right? It's like people's brain just can't understand like something so vague, like, and
Mm-hmm.
digital. Right? You can't see it and touch it, you know? So yeah. And then the one thing about Bitcoin is it's irreversible. You send it out and that's gone, right?
Mhm.
But to err as human, people make mistakes all the time. They forget their keys. They make a mistake. They type one word wrong and then it's gone. Then it's almost like counter human, right? And then also the tech community always says code is law, right? But right now people still trust human beings, although some people are not that trustable. To have people trust an algorithm is sort of like weird, you know, to most. Yeah. So it's kind of flipping a lot of paradigms here.
I love it. Yeah,
And then
this
the
is really
blockchain validation time, takes like 10 minutes and you're like, where did my money go? That was my first experience, right? You send it out and then it doesn't tell you it's coming in. So you look at your wallet, it's like your money's not there. Then you go like, where is it?
freaking out.
Like,
Yeah.
you freak out, right?
Yeah.
And currently our human attention span, especially the younger generation, is like 8 seconds or less. This is TikTok era, right? You just flip. So people don't have the patience to wait even 10 minutes, right? And then with all the tech jargons, like nobody knows what anybody's talking about when you say NFT, crypto, metaverse, blah, blah. And when we design, we hide all the tech jargons. That's the difference between iPhone, Macintosh versus Android and your PC, right? And then we design for trust, we design for people, but then with all this bad news happening with FTX, Mt. Gox, Terra Luna, is not building a lot of trust. Right. So I just want to highlight how to design for people, we need to design on the right side. But right now, a lot of things happening are not in line.
Yes.
Yeah. So
this is super great.
This is unreal. This is so brilliant. Honestly, Elaine, you are amazing. I just want to really acknowledge, because this is literally everything that we like. It was so funny because the only objection that was the conversation that has been with so many people is that Bitcoin does not create jobs. You literally in this slide have just given us a clear pathway, a very clear pathway of how to create so much infrastructure and jobs on human development. Literally in one fucking slide.
Really? How can you explain?
I can see so much here. I can see so much. There is so many bridges here that we get to now design.
Yeah.
To build the infrastructure to transition people to understand why this is such a responsibility for them to get it, so that and literally all we need to do is just use the wording, the verbiage, the language in what we're building with Bitcoin strategists. And that is why this is going to be so integral, because this is going to be like, I'm so grateful right now. Literally, it's like that. You're such an angel.
I mean, when we design for people, we focus on the people. I think what's happening in the whole space is designing for, it's technology for technology's sake. Right. And tech people for tech people. If you ask the tech people, they think, oh, it's so easy to use.
Yeah.
Until you talk to the 98% of the people and they lose all this money, it's not. I mean, I don't think it's that easy to use, even though I'm half of me is in tech, right?
Yeah.
It's like bridging the gap, right? Bridging the gap. Yeah.
No, I think this is brilliant.
Anyway.
I'm excited.
So,
yeah, I love this.
Of course, I also need to have tech people to work with to know how to bridge the gap, because
Right.
I mean, I know maybe the validation time is not possible to change, but maybe we can design the interface so that people know it's coming at least, right?
Or we can, or we can bridge the interconnection phase. So what that means is you are your own bank. So some people, what they may need, because like even in Safedin's book, the Bitcoin Standard, some people are naturally still going to want to use a bank. So having that bridging component of maybe developing a really strong internal bank system where it gives the capacity, so people, essentially the bridge becomes the bank and the bank becomes the bridge.
Yeah.
I have something for you guys.
Yeah.
Please.
Didn't I talked about this on our call last week with you guys, didn't I? Didn't I quickly bring up the pop-up idea?
Pop up.
Sure.
Yes, you
I don't
did.
remember.
Yes, you
Sure.
did. You did. Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. So, really quick, and Elaine, there's I 100% agree with you. That is what is lacking. And I think that it's almost look at the first iteration of the internet, and DARPA back in the 50s, and think of Bitcoin as that base layer and how many years it's taken to build on top of that base layer protocol to get to the Ubers of the world and the killer applications. And that's exactly it. I have an investor friend who said, I'm not touching anything in blockchain until I see the killer application. And it took years from the iPhone launching for Uber to become a killer app. So I think we're still in that stage, and I love seeing a lot of the development, and that's what I've been doing is networking to find all the different tech pieces that are trying to build the customer-centric experience for crypto, for Bitcoin, for this new Web3 paradigm, because I've seen all these pain points. Two things I'm working on, and when they come together will be really fun. There's, in my opinion, I'm going to solve for two places where people can get Bitcoin, because I've seen a huge problem with exchanges, and I'm not liking that. And I've got access and the ability to facilitate two other ways for people to get Bitcoin, and they're kind of the only other two. The company that I've founded with my partners over the past few years is working on first tokenized Bitcoin mining machines, where individuals can buy a Bitcoin mining machine that's been tokenized. So the physical machine is controlled on chain, and you get your Bitcoin directly. So similar to some platforms you've seen like SAS mining or Compass
You
mining.
mine your own Bitcoin, you mean?
It's mining your own Bitcoin. You are going to get an S21. You're buying the machine.
Right.
You're paying for the hosting. But the end user experience of that would be as simple as, here's a machine, or here's a Bitcoin network validator, because we got to start also changing the way we explain this to end customers, and mining doesn't make any sense to me. So I'd love to reframe that paradigm and be
That's
like,
the wrong word also.
yeah, which one?
The word mining is the wrong word.
100%. 100%. They are block creators. That's what they are. They're block creators and block validators. So we have a chance to reframe that with machines that people can purchase. And the user experience there would be very simple. You buy a machine, it gives you Bitcoin every 10 minutes. When you don't want the machine anymore, you sell it. So people, because it's tokenized, you can both buy and sell, and you liquidate instantly. The other product we have is ATMs. So my partner owns the patent for all the ATMs in the US. And so we can launch an ATM network, where people can also come and exchange US dollars to get Bitcoin. They can also exchange their Bitcoin to get US dollars. So we can become the bank. Here's my idea. I want to launch a pop-up shop. Imagine you walk in and it's an Apple-esque experience, and you're here to learn about Bitcoin. You're here to buy a Bitcoin miner. And literally the experience of that would be, you're buying a miner, but it's hosted over in Kansas, but you're buying it with a credit card. We're helping you set up your Bitcoin wallet, and the wallet is control of the miner. So all of a sudden your wallet's being filled every 10 minutes. And we're like, great, there's step one. You just bought your first access to Bitcoin, one-time payment. 10-minute cash flow of Bitcoin. Then right there next to them is the ATM machine. So they could pull out some cash if they wanted to from the Bitcoin they just started mining and experience it. And then all in this one pop-up experience of just walking them through the 3 stages of like, here's what Bitcoin is. Let's get you set up with your wallet, and let's get you set up with your mining, and here's an ATM to test it all out. It's like, to me, that was a very basic element. You could do it in major cities like Seattle, LA, Austin, New York, San Francisco, just to start, and just do something fun like that.
Yeah, I was sharing with Eric and Lau that I worked on a project on Bitcoin mining for the home. Let me show you here. This
I
was
would love
like
that.
2 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
We called it Mine Easy, MEZ.
Mhm.
Yeah, we helped them brand, and this is the concept basically, right?
Yep. I love
Mine
it.
your business. It's called. Yeah, but the idea is it's to easily just plug and play, because partly people who mine are like geeks who can figure out the computers by themselves, and it's not
That's
easy.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
What
and
do you
then.
need? What do you need, Andrew, for these pop-ups? Like, what are these? Like, what is this? What's the biggest need? Because this banking is what I see as the bridge, as that between the two, Web3 and the UX principles. That bank in the middle is literally what is the bridge that we can create.
Yep. This is basically this is stage 3, I would call it. This is after the marketplace launches. So stage 1 is the MVP, get machines up and tokenized, sell them through normal channels. Stage 2 is the marketplace, so that anybody can tokenize ASICs and we get all the major players on board. Then stage 3, we build out a physical retail presence as a bank specifically for Bitcoin. And that can be done all powered by the infrastructure that I've built and that, we control. So, because when they, Charlie, when they walk in and buy a machine, the marketplace needs to be live, because that's where they're going to come in and experience this, because they'll come up and there's going to be a giant world map of all the machines available for sale and say, what would you like to buy today? We've got 7 cents in Kansas. We've got 5 cents in Argentina. We've got 10 cents over here. We've got this carbon neutral. We've got that carbon neutral. So the experience of a customer is going to be them understanding what's going on. This is a physical machine plugged in somewhere over here. You're going to control it. You're going to get this rate of electricity. You're going to contribute this amount of carbon to the environment. We can offset it with this carbon credit, all that good stuff. That's an end user experience for me.
Oh, can you explain a little bit about tokenizing Bitcoin mining machine?
Yeah. So
What do you
I
mean?
invested. Sure. So I invested in a tech company 2 years ago, and they're very similar to what you kind of just said. The slide you had that was like, here's how UX design is so different from Web3. They're the first AI on blockchain, where they were able to build off-chain AI computation in like a trustless environment that you can then put on chain. And lots of applications. They're basically Chainlink on steroids. So Chainlink is kind of like an Oracle, but they're a random number generator. Like, that's about as powerful as their computation was. Jairitsu is true AI algorithms. And their tech platform is, instead of, when you do off-chain compute, instead of using Amazon, Google, or Azure to run your computation, they built something called an MPC ZK cloud. So it's a multi-power compute cloud system that runs the algorithms off-chain, and then it goes on-chain into their network. They're building an RWA tokenization platform, and they're tokenizing equity commodities. They're working with very big partners like Susquehanna and Republic.com. Avalanche is their tech partner, so they just launched on the Avalanche blockchain, and the announcement, I think, went out yesterday. Long story short, their tech would allow us to take a machine, and that machine can be in my facility in New York. Like, this is how we're starting. We've got 100 machines in New York. We'll take a machine and we'll actually put it onto sorry, I had a call coming in. We'll put it onto the blockchain. Hey, love. My sick daughter just woke up.
Oh.
Hi, cutie. She's at Joel's soccer game.
So
You
we
wanna come
have.
get a hug?
I just want to be mindful of time, Elaine.
Oh,
too,
yeah, we have to-
because of the
Elaine.
other copywriter. So
Elaine,
brother,
let's take this offline, and I'd love to
Oh, sure,
show
we're just
you
taking another
what
call.
we're doing. I gotta go because I got a little sick girl who's had a fever for 2 days, and I gotta make sure she's feeling better.
No worries, no worries. We have a copywriter called right now.
Okay.
Ciao,
All right. Hey,
everyone.
you guys are the
Thanks
best.
for listening.
Elaine, I'll follow up with you so that we can connect this week and talk more because I love what you're doing and I need your lens. I come from an ex-IDEO team out of Ernst
you
and
did?
Young.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay.
I've got to just, and the reason, by the way, the reason I got into this Jiritsu deal at EY, I used to work for one of our head partners of AI and innovation. He's now the head of artificial intelligence at NVIDIA.
Oh,
He's the
wow.
foremost authority of AI. He's the one who invested in this company alongside me. He brought me into the deal because I'm still good friends with him. So
Awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
lots of
I'm
questions.
on the same wavelength as you. I've got that design eye, and I'm like, this has to be consumer friendly, and we're so disconnected. We're a couple years away from doing it, but we're gonna work
Yeah.
on it together.
All right. Thank you.
All right, you got it.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Much love.
peace out, brother.
Love.
Eric, are we staying on this here?
Sure. I'll just send. What's his name? Actually,
Adam, is that? Is it Adam?